Thank you for that, Blue Steel. Sorry, my cat's knocking my soda can off the table. Anyway.
Welcome to Stargatesing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG-1 and Atlantis. Hello.
How are we doing?
Fine. How are you?
Doing all right. Yeah. A little sleepy, but otherwise fine.
I could go for some sleep. I like sleep.
Yeah, sleep is pretty great. So I was going to type a response to what you sent me, but then I was like, I should just get on and talk to you. There was a day in Chorus a couple weeks ago where the tech person was hand typing the URL of our Zoom link we have. So we have a Zoom every week for Chorus, but she was like typing it by hand too. And I was like, why is she doing that? But maybe her computer device was broken and she needed to type it on her phone by hand.
Indeed. For anyone who's wondering what the hell Kathy's talking about.
I mean, I was probably going to cut it maybe, but who knows? It doesn't matter. Go on.
I use Signal to send Kathy the link for the recording that we are doing each day. And I guess Signal expired on this machine, and it is a Linux machine that I know literally nothing about. So when I clicked on the download for Linux, it came up with a bunch of instructions that I didn't understand and didn't have time to figure out. I'm sure I could if I tried, but I don't have time for it.
That's fair.
So I couldn't send Kathy the link. So then I had to type it in on my phone and send it to her that way. And I was complaining that I couldn't copy and paste.
I was going to suggest you email it to me, but realized it would probably take longer for that to happen than for you to finish typing it. So here we are.
Indeed. Here we are. We made it eventually.
We did.
Despite technical issues. And every time that I use this computer lately, it tells me that there are new updates to install, and that's also getting annoying.
That is annoying.
I use this computer every week.
Yeah.
And every week there's new updates that it wants me to install. What the hell is happening?
Okay, not like you're ignoring them and they just keep telling you, but you keep getting new ones.
No, I do them after after we record, I tell it to install the updates, and then I come back to do our next recording, and it tells me once again, there's updates to install.
Yay!
Yeah.
My computer did an update too, but it didn't take that long.
This one, I don't know if it would take long. It's just I didn't feel like delaying it, but also
fair.
I don't know why it needs an update every single week.
I only did mine because when I went to restart it, it only gave me an option to update and restart instead of just restarting, so...
That means it's important.
Fine, Windows. I will play your game this time. I could have hard reset and ignored it, but...
You could have. That would probably have been bad.
Yeah. It'll get me eventually, or it would have, but it...
And also, if you hard reset it, then as soon as it turned back on, it would have just installed the updates anyway, because they're already downloaded at that point, So that wouldn't really have gotten you anywhere other than your computer would shut down slightly quicker.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
I do like making my computer shut down slightly quicker.
Yeah, that's so good for them, I hear.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
How's your week going?
It is fine. I did my last lecture of the semester today.
Yeah!
And exam season has started. By exam season, I mean all of my classes have an exam this week or next week, and then they also have another exam the week after. So yes, They have 2 exams, 2 weeks in a row. I'm not the one that decided that, but I do have to enforce it. So here we are. They have their 4th quarterly exam, and then they have their cumulative final exam.
Yeesh.
And then I'm done.
So much exams.
Much exam.
Yeah.
Indeed. If it was up to me, I would just put a bunch of stuff from the 4th quarter on the final and then have it all be one exam. But here we are. I can't do something different than what every other section's doing. So
be your own man, Mary.
And then I have lots and lots of students complain and then have to do what everyone else is doing anyway, because that is what happens when anyone does something different. She is only giving 4 exams. Why do I have to take 5 exams? That's not fair that her section only takes 4. Either that or my students would be complaining, why are our exams each worth more? Everyone else gets 5 exams that are only worth 11%. How come we have to take 4 exams that are each worth 15? So either way, people would complain. So no, I'm not going to do my own thing.
I think I did college wrong because I didn't talk to enough people to know what any other class was ever doing regarding exams or papers.
These students are all talking. We have a study room where they can access all the models. And so all students are in there like all the time from all sections.
Gotcha.
And so they meet up with other students from other sections. And of course, they gossip about what's going on in different sections. And it has been a whole huge thing in past semesters where it was determined that some professors were teaching one way and some professors had a different rule and other professors had a different rule. So we actually did have to set certain guidelines, I don't know, like a year and a half ago or so. We had to put certain guidelines in place for like how all of the exams needed to be weighted and how much of a curve, if any, that you could put on them, how many bonus questions you could put on them. Like we had to spell all of this out because students were complaining that class gets 20-point curves and my professor doesn't curve at all. And yeah, it was getting really ridiculous.
Good grief.
Yeah. And they were complaining to deans and yeah, it was a big mess.
Stupid whiners.
Right? Seriously.
God.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
But that's all I have.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It's been fine. Like I said, I'm tired, but that's mainly because the other night I just couldn't fall asleep till like 3 a.m. for no stupid reason or no good reason. And I've just been trying to catch up. So, it's in that sluggish, like I got more sleep last night, but not enough sleep phase. But that's okay. That's not very exciting.
I find it thrilling.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting. No, wait, the other thing. Tedious.
Except you can't actually catch up for lost sleep.
I know.
Technically.
Yes, but I can feel better if I sleep enough.
Yes.
In one night, which I can't because I don't have time. Anyway.
Do you know who else doesn't have time? Yeah, they don't really have much time.
The people in the puddle jumper and Jack?
Yes, before they potentially are blown up by a nuclear device.
Or drowned.
Or drowned. Yes, specifically Jack and the puddle jumper. Actually, I forgot about all of that. Yes, that also is very short on time, that bit there. I was thinking more about the fact that they had a nuclear weapon imminent.
Oh, yes. Also, there were many threats happening.
There were many threats that were time-conscious,
Yes.
time-pressing. And then we also kind of went back in time, but not really. Got flashback.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's true.
There were all kinds of time themes in this one.
True.
Yeah. What is this episode that we're talking about?
This is Stargate Atlantis Season 3, Episode 11, The Return, Part 2, which it took me a long time today to realize which episode we were talking about, even though I'd watched it, because I kept thinking about Jack, and I'm like, it's an SG-1 episode we're talking about. And I'm like, no, we just released an Atlantis episode, so it's Atlantis talk time. And then I'm like, but Jack! And I was really confusing myself, but
It is
I got
both
there.
Jack and Atlantis.
Yes, it is.
It starts with a recap,
Woo.
but it was basically only recapping the last episode. So, and it was also an oddly long recap, I felt like. So I condensed it down to just there's ancients, there's replicators, there's chaos, and recap.
I watched the DVD commentary for this, and it was long because they were short on time.
Okay, that explains what I was wondering earlier also. About a couple of times where I'm like, what the hell was the point of that? Unless they were trying to just bide some time in this episode.
Multiple Landry scenes were also added for time.
Shocking. Shocking to me. Well, it's like what I said about the last episode, the 2-part episode in SG-1, where I mentioned that it felt like the second part was just them trying to bide their time because they needed to stretch the episode.
Yeah. And they did.
Indeed. This episode starts in some hallway somewhere. Woolsey is just hiding. Woolsey is very bad at this because when he thinks he hears a noise, he does have a gun and he goes to check it out and whispers for Jack. And Jack comes around the corner getting mad at him, asking, what if I was a replicator? You'd be dead right now.
I'm a doctor, not a commando.
And apparently Jack had just gone off in search of snacks. So he found a power bar or something, it looks like. And so, yeah, they're stuck here. They survived, obviously, but things are not going very well. Jack was also trying to get a little bit of information while he was out there, and he says that Stargate Ops is crawling with replicators. There's no way that they can possibly get to a jumper bay to try to escape. Wilsey asks if they're looking for them, and Jack's like, I plumb forgot to ask. I thought their interactions in this episode were very entertaining.
Agreed.
The two of them worked well together.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. The life science detector in this particular area is damaged. How they knew that, I don't really know, but it's damaged. So that's going to make it harder for the replicators to find them if they do try to find them. Maybe that will help them get by until they get rescued. But unfortunately, Jack has some bad news for Wilsey about that rescue. There's not going to be a rescue because there's a stupid standing order that says if there's ever a foothold situation in Atlantis that the entire city is supposed to be nuked. Woolsey wants to know whose dumb order that is, and Jack says it is his, looking a bit exasperated with himself.
Then we get a repeat scene of the Atlantis team escaping Earth. It happened in the previous episode. They show it again.
Yep. Again, trying to kill some time here.
Yep. They go to Atlantis, straight into Atlantis's gate room, which they're able to bypass the shield thanks to Rodney's little backdoor code that we knew about. And the puddle jumper just pushes into the room and plows over this guy.
There were two of them.
There were. I didn't notice until they were going away that there was a second pair of legs on the ground. There were whole bodies, but I was noticing their legs. It was really funny to me that they just...
It was hilarious to me. I actually... So the first time I watched this scene, I didn't notice that it hit those people until the puddle jumper takes off and it backs up and there were two people laying underneath it. I was like, where the hell did those people come from? So I rewound it, rewatched the scene, and you can actually see two guys running down the stairs, getting knocked over, and there's like a weird... like plasticky clinking noise as they fall down. And then as we're seeing the puddle jumper from the outside, we could just see the bodies of one of them just laying underneath the puddle jumper. It was very hilarious to me.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, it was great. It was a tiny thing that was happening in only a small portion of the screen that was easy to miss, but it was hilarious.
Yes.
In my estimation.
While they're still hanging out in the gate room, they radio to O'Neill and find out that Wilsey and O'Neill are alive. Yay.
Yay.
We already knew because we're better than them.
Yes.
Yes, that's why.
Yep.
Shepard wants to know only one thing, and that is whether O'Neill and Wilsey are anywhere near Stargate operations. And he says, no, they are not. Shepard's like, that's great. I'll be back in touch with you in a couple hours. And then tells McKay to drop the package, which is just some like car battery looking device when we see it eventually.
Yeah, I also thought it looked like a car battery.
And then because the gate is already closed behind them, they back the hell out of the gate room through the Stargate. I thought it was pretty cool. They just crashed through the wall.
You're right, through the wall that is behind the Stargate, actually. Through the not open Stargate and the wall beyond.
Yeah, so they're not feet shoeing themselves.
They're not. I thought that part was actually really funny, too, because they just show a bunch of replicators standing around. I think some of them were shooting at the puddle jumper, which had its shields up, and then all of a sudden it just backs out through the wall as quickly as it came in out of nowhere and knocked down those guys.
It was pretty great. And then some replicators approach the car battery, and then we get an outside shot of a giant explosion. Stargate Ops is just taken out.
Yep.
And Shepard's like, yeah, that went well.
Yeah.
And the puddle jumper zips off away from the city as we go to credits, finally.
Yes. Quite a lengthy intro between
it was lengthy,
the recap and all of that.
And very entertaining.
Quite. I agree. Meanwhile, down with Jack and Wilsey realizes that it sounds like there was an explosion up there. Jack says it's because it was. Basically, we just get a bunch of scenes, which we now know is because they were trying to take up extra time, of Woolsey asking Jack a bunch of questions that he couldn't possibly know the answer to. And so I won't recap the entire thing, but they were all pretty amusing.
It's pretty funny.
But as Jack eventually ends up telling him, I've been with you the whole time. How would I have these answers? If you don't have them, I don't have them, essentially. And then we are in the control room of the SGC. Poulter is there telling Landry that they're coming up on 2,300 hours. But Landry, of course, knows the time. I don't really know why it even matters what the time is. So Landry is assuming at this point that Shepard heard whatever message he sent in the last episode that I don't actually remember, but I'm assuming was something along the lines of come back here or get fired.
Yeah.
There's been no response. Poulter tries to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe they didn't hear it, but no, Landry is sure that he heard it. Oh, that's right. That's the one that Mitchell, wrong characters all around. That's the one that Shepard hung up on because he didn't want to hear what he had to say. Poulter's still trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll be successful in rescuing them, but Landry says they have no way of knowing if they've been successful or not, if there's no radio communication. Landry's got his standing orders. We all know what those standing orders are. So whether or not all of those people are there, they're still going to have to nuke Atlantis. Also, while you're getting ready to lock out their IDCs, just in case they've been compromised, get Dr. Lee and send him to my office.
Because we've got more time to kill.
Yeah.
Then we're back with the entire cast of Stargate Atlantis in a puddle jumper.
The entire cast.
Yeah.
Chuck Nishan's not there.
Chuck Nishan is not there, but the entire main cast.
Zelenka's not there.
He's not in the credits. He's not in the opening credits.
I guess. He's an underrated character. I think he's great.
I think he's great too, but he is not in the opening credits, and I'm trying to shorten saying Team Sharp plus Beckett plus Weir.
Fair. Okay, fair. Fine, I guess.
Everybody's in the puddle jumper.
Yeah, it's very crowded. It's like a clown car in there.
Yep. They're flying around. Rodney says it's good to be back, however briefly, so they're not sticking around Atlantis. They have a plan, which we know because Taylor's like, shouldn't we have told General Neal our plan? And Shepard's like, nah, we'll catch him up later. We don't know what the plan is yet. Rodney, though, says it's impossible to convert the shield back into a cloak, so they're not going to be able to be stealth puddle jumping anytime soon.
Has that always been a thing, that they could only use the shield or the cloak, but not both at the same time?
Yes, because I think the jumper didn't initially have a shield, and at one point they had to manufacture it out of the cloak.
Oh, I see.
It was in a different episode. I can't remember which one, though.
Okay.
And Shepard's like, you mean Rodney impossible, right? And Rodney's like, no, literally impossible this time. They also discuss how the replicators are going to be very fast in rebuilding the city, so whatever they're going to do, again, they're hurried for time. A lot of imminent threats, as we were talking about.
Yes. So much pressing of time.
While they're talking, they're doing something in space, but we don't actually see what it is. And then Shepard's like, got him, right where we left him. And they found someone in space. Rodney reports his power levels are barely registering. This is why the replicators have not found him. It's Niam Cat.
They kept saying his name is Niam, which I definitely don't remember from when we watched this the first time. It's possible I'm just not remembering right, but I'm still going to keep calling him Niam Cat anyway.
I am too. I think the first time we couldn't remember how to do it, and it was better to call him Niam Cat.
Niam Cat is better than Niam. Sorry if anyone's name is actually Niam out there.
Yeah,
no offense.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a real name. I'm guessing not, but maybe.
Yeah. Taylor asks if they're not going to possibly catch the same nanovirus that Weir got last time they encountered him. So the plan is apparently to bring this guy aboard. Beckett's like, nah, he's been out in space a really long time. He's got barely any power. He'll be all right. Ronan asks if he's dead, and Rodney says he's mostly dead. So that is another Princess Bride reference.
You've been mostly dead all day.
Right. Mostly dead is still partly alive.
That's right. Rodney calls him the key to their whole plan. And then we don't get to see them put him on board. They open up the back hatch, and there he is laying there after they've repressurized the compartment back there. So I can't remember if they said they couldn't do the shot or didn't have the money. I don't remember why they said they didn't show them pulling him in. It's not important. What I wonder is there's like some tanks sitting on the seats back there that were standing upright when they opened the thing. And I'm just like, but wasn't it depressurized and wouldn't they have been all floaty?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. But yes,
but there's nothing askew.
If it's depressurized, does that mean that the fake gravity is going?
I mean, didn't they have to open it to the vacuum of space to bring him in? Wouldn't that have no gravity?
But the fake gravity is separate from
maybe
the pressurization of the ship.
Gotcha. Good thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if opening the hatch and depressurizing it means they have to lose the false gravity, then yes, that makes no sense. But I'm guessing that they are two separate systems.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming because, gravity plating is a real thing.
Fair. All right. So they're satisfied he's only mostly dead.
Yes.
Rodney says he doesn't have the juice to regain consciousness, he thinks. But, just to bring home that they don't really know, his fingers twitch a little, just to remind us all he's a scary dude. Shepard orders Rodney to load the program. So that's what he's going to do.
Hold on to your butts.
Then we're back on Atlantis, and there's a couple of monotone replicators talking to each other. And I was like, this must be a really great acting gig because you don't have to actually act. You can basically just sound like you're reading your lines. Or maybe they weren't supposed to, and they're just bad actors. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't look them up.
They're just talking about the repairs that are going on to fix all of the damage from the explosion in the operations room. They've got people that are looking around for the puddle jumper that they are referring to as a gate ship. And they don't have any sensors that will be able to find it that are currently functional, so they're going to have to just detect it visually.
And what did your sensors show?
So old-fashioned.
Yeah.
They know that the people on the gate ship communicated with somebody in the city, so they're also trying to search the city for whoever they might have been talking to. Here we learn that all of the ancients were killed, so that was very anticlimactic for them.
Yes.
Ancients, OMG, ancients. Look, we're meeting ancients. Oh, they're all dead and died off screen somewhere between last episode and now. Okay. And Mulder's sister is the one I'm assuming they're talking about when they're talking about the commander attempting to conceal the fact that all of the ancients were dead as he probed her mind. And I would assume that she is now also dead. So, yeah that's it for the ancients. All of them.
Great.
Gone. I guess there's no competition for the city then, aside from the replicators. They are wondering if there might have been any small number of humans remaining. But no, they think that they would have detected them. Well, then who are you looking for? If you know that they communicated, that people on the puddle jumper communicated with someone in the city, that seems weird to say that there can't be any small number of humans around. So, who do you think they were talking to?
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And as one of them points out, any humans that could be remaining might actually be hiding where the sensors are inoperable. So,
indeed.
They're going to have to capture them as well. So I guess they're sending out search teams for two separate groups that are, in fact, just the same people. It was weird. They
said this very strangely.
They did. Yeah, they did. They did make it sound like the people that the puddle jumper was communicating with would need one search, and then any humans that might be still there would need a second search. That was weird.
Yep. Very, very weird.
Then we are back on the puddle jumper. Shepard is pressing McKay to ask if he's done yet. And Rodney thinks he is done. We don't know exactly what, I guess whatever program that was that they were trying to upload into Niam Cat. Dr. Weir wants to know why they don't do this from there. We don't know what this is still because they haven't actually told us. That's when we do learn a little bit more that their plan is to render the replicators helpless, presumably having to do with something that they just uploaded onto Niam Cat. And so, yes, that is the plan. They need to get closer to the city, though, because Rodney says he basically has the choice of keeping Niam Cat at low power levels so that they don't wake him up, which means that they would need to be in short range, or if they woke him up, they could do it from further away. So that seemed weird to me, but that was basically what he was saying, was the reason why he didn't just send whatever signal out using Niam as their antenna or whatever. So Rodney says they got to get much closer. None of them are pleased with that because they don't have a cloak, but they got to do it anyway.
Yeah, they do.
Yep. And once again, they say, good to be back home. And Shepard says, good to be back home. And Dr. Weir says, there's no place like it. More Wizard of Oz.
Then we're back in the SGC where Dr. Lee has come to see Landry. He is trying really hard to explain how he was tricked. Like a scene out of The Sting. He calls Weir and Rodney incredible for what they did. Landry doesn't care, though. That's not why he has Dr. Lee there. Lee continues trying to explain, but Landry says, no, what I want from you is how to disable the gate bridge between galaxies. And Lee is like, what? We just built that. But Landry does not care. Lee thinks maybe if they detonate a Mark 9, so they really have those Mark bombs up there now at 9. Wow. Yeah. So Landry's like, all right, we're keeping our options open, but we'll have that Mark 9 ready. Just ready.
Just in case.
Yeah. Lee says maybe we could dismantle it instead. But Landry's like, no, we don't really have time for that. And then Landry's like, get out. So he does. Yeah, even when I was watching it, not knowing they were like added scenes because they needed to fill in some time, like I was like, what is he doing? Why is this here?
Yep.
I mean, it's silly. Give me a Dr. Lee scene any day, but
right.
I was like, what is going on? Why is Landry on this rampage? But anyway.
Yeah, it was a weird scene.
Yeah. Then we're in Atlantis. The puddle jumper is out in the ocean, headed towards the city. Shepard says they're about a mile out. Rodney then says he's going to start broadcasting the virus now, but they're going to still need to be closer. So they have a virus to broadcast. Another little part of their plan comes into focus. Unfortunately, because they can't cloak, they're spotted. And the replicators launch some squids. They have to still get closer, though. So they've got to do some evasive maneuvering. Which we do watch as they do, flying through the city, while these squids are coming close and sometimes hitting buildings in the city. And
so glowy, so squiddy.
So glowy, so squiddy. It's good times.
Yeah. We are back with Jack and Woolsey hiding wherever their little hidey hole is there. They hear another explosion. It's once again just a scene of Woolsey asking Jack a bunch of questions about what is happening, and Jack reminding Woolsey he has no more information than Woolsey does because he's been there the whole time. Then we're back on the puddle jumper again. Weir says if they keep this up, there's not going to be much of the city left to save since the squids do keep running into things that are not the puddle jumper. Shepard says he'll try to get the drones to run into her least favorite buildings, if that'll help her feel better. Rodney says it should be working, but it doesn't seem to be working. Rodney really doesn't want to try to give Niam Cat any more power to make it work any better. But they might not have a choice because if it's not working, they're going to get killed eventually by all the squids.
Indeed.
In fact, a squid explodes near them and has a minor impact, not directly on the ship.
Careful, you idiot! I said across her nose, not up it!
But close enough because the shields cushion the impact a little bit, but they still feel it. And the shields have been damaged. So Shepard has a different idea. And he dives down into the ocean. We see the drones don't follow them down there.
Yeah. And I was like, what? The squids can't go underwater?
Ironic, right?
Ironic, except later they do go underwater.
Yeah, they do. So it made no sense.
And I learned in the commentary there was a scene that was supposed to be in there of the replicators being like, they got destroyed. We don't need to waste our squids on them.
So they put all these extra scenes in that they didn't need, that didn't add anything, and they took out a scene that actually would have been helpful to have.
That's a good point. It does not make any sense, does it?
No, what the hell? I mean, I always like a bit more Woolsey and Jack, so I'm not complaining, but that seems like a weird editing choice.
Yes. We're left to fill in these plot holes on our own or watch DVD commentaries for TV shows.
Yes.
Which I don't always enjoy doing, but sometimes.
Fair.
But this one I wanted to watch because I wanted to watch it for the later scenes of talking about Jack underwater and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Ah, yes.
Yeah. To see if they had anything interesting to say.
Fair.
Anyway, now we're back with Woolsey and Jack, and Woolsey this time, instead of asking questions, is complaining that they haven't contacted them literally at the 2-hour mark. Even though in my world, when someone says a couple hours, that's 2-ish hours. It's not exactly 2. He could have said, see you in 2 hours, but he didn't. He said, see you in a couple hours. But anyway, I think that they're a little bit over precise trying to do this, but it does give them more back and forth bickering time. But then finally, Shepard does radio to O'Neill. Jack responds, you're late, because he's 11 seconds after the 2-hour mark, apparently. Shepard apologizes for going to pick up some frozen goods from space. Jack doesn't care about that. He's like, where are you? Shepard says they're not exactly inside the city and they're underwater, headed towards an underwater jumper bay. Weir corrects that they think it's an underwater jumper bay, and O'Neill is like, oh, Dr. Weir is there, huh? And Weir's like, oh, great, good to hear your voice. And he's like, I didn't say that was good to hear you. He's pretty grumpy at them. He says he's surprised Landry would send them on this mission, and they're like, yeah, it's not really an official sanctioned mission. Which, to Jack's dismay, means they are not surrounded by heavily armed SG teams and strapping Marines. And Weir's like, no, you've got Team Shart and me and Dr. Beckett. Isn't that great?
I'd be happy.
Jack, though, is not impressed, particularly with Dr. Beckett.
We babies.
Which was a weird little, a little sideburn on Beckett there. For
it
no
really
reason.
was. And he seemed very sad about that first.
He did. Shepard assures them, though, they have a good plan. But Jack says, if you don't fail, you're fired. And they're like, cool, okay. So Jack finally has something he can tell Woolsey, and that is they have a plan, which Woolsey already knew because he was listening to the whole conversation.
Right. On the puddle jumper, it seems like they have found the underwater bay that they were looking for and have parked, I guess we would call it, landed.
Yeah.
And now they want to get out, except that they can't get out because they're surrounded by water and they can't empty the chamber of water. And also, oops, the puddle jumper is apparently leaking now from the damage that they sustained earlier. So all of that is bad. According to Rodney, the controls aren't working. It's not letting him repressurize the compartment with air to try to get all of the water out of there. So that's bad. And also, the doors aren't working. So that's also bad. Everything's bad. Rodney is very angry at this point. This wasn't his idea. This wasn't part of his plan. Shepard says, well, you said to get us close to the city. This is as close as they can get. They are in the city now. So they all agree they're kind of screwed now. And this plan is not really going very well.
No.
They talk about the fact that there must be a manual override somewhere to get the bay that they're in to drain. And yes, there is. It is in the bay's control room. So Shepard says, great, I'm going to go swim to it. He reaches up like he's going to open a hatch in the ceiling, which would have immediately flooded the entire puddle jumper.
What was he? That was a bad idea. Bad thought there,
It would
Shepard.
have been a very bad plan. I thought that was weird, but it doesn't matter anyway because the manual controls that are in the bay control room are actually outside of the bay on the other side of a door that is sealing them in. So, of course it is, Shepard says. Rodney says to give him a half an hour to get Niam Cat to the right power level, and then they can try to reach Jack and get Jack to maybe access those controls, but they don't have that much time. The puddle jumper is going to be flooded by then because water's not coming in just the one crack that they initially noticed. Apparently there's a bunch of fractures. So they're going to need him to help them out significantly sooner. So they get him on the radio.
Good thing they have all this dramatic stuff happening to keep Rodney distracted from being like, why am I stuck in this same situation again?
Right. He did make a brief comment of not again at some point.
True.
Which I thought was funny.
But no time for Sam hallucinations this time.
No, not this time.
No. Woolsey and Jack are walking along, headed toward the control room at the request of everyone in the jumper. Rodney is leading them along and says there's a hatch leading down to the next level. Do you see it? And yes, they do. However, it's full of water. There's a ladder down and the whole thing's flooded. Rodney's like, maybe you could take a swim today? And Jack's gonna do it. So he gives Woolsey his gun. He takes his shoes off and his outer shirt and still wears his long pants and long shirt into the water. That's a lot of clothing in water. I don't know.
It is.
Anyway, he tells Woolsey, if he hears something, don't call to it, shoot it. And that is anything that's not me, he says, is a replicator. He sticks his toe in the water, but apparently the water is very cold. In reality, that is a heated tank.
Oh, good to know.
Or at least...
Interesting.
Yeah, or at least the set they are in. I think the outer one was part of their set, and then when they go down, it's like a set they built in a tank that can rise and... Anyway.
I was surprised when he went in and it was all like lit up in there because when we're looking down at it from where they are, they're in a dark room. So if it was lit, you would think that it would be glowing from underneath. But it was completely dark when Jack headed down there. I was like, how's he going to see anything?
Yeah. Before he does head in fully, he asks what he's supposed to do when he gets down there. Rodney says the manual override. It's in the center of the console. It's going to be totally obvious. So Jack's like, cool, okay, and dips down into the water. Then we are watching Jack swim underwater. He's got a ways to go. He goes down and it's not right there. He has to swim into a different part of the room or where there are clearly doors that can close between them. So second room.
Yes.
Yeah. He looks around, though, at this center console, and there's all kinds of buttons and panels and things he could push and pull and twist.
Bop it! Twist it! Pull it!
So he turns around and goes back to Woolsey. Woolsey's like, is it done? And Jack just asks for the radio. He gets on the radio. And Rodney is also like, is it done? And Jack's like, nope. We have very different ideas of what obvious is. And then Rodney drops. He's actually not ever seen this control before. He just assumed it would be obvious. Rodney then says it should be among the most prominent because it's an emergency control, so maybe that'll help Jack figure it out. And he's gonna go give it another shot. In addition to the DVD commentary, there was a little short on, I don't think it was specifically about this episode, it was about O'Neill being on Atlantis. Mm-hmm. Richard Dean Anderson is talking about this scene and how underwater he has to do all this acting underwater, and he's like, obviously this wouldn't be how it really is. You wouldn't make these faces underwater if you were really trying to do things. It was just very funny. And also apparently Richard Dean Anderson is a big diver.
Holy diver, you've been down too long in the midnight sea.
Which I did not know. Yeah.
Fabulous.
So he was real game for this.
Nice.
Yeah.
I, despite being a scuba diver, don't like swimming underwater without a tank of oxygen on my back.
Ah, all right.
And I would have been extremely uncomfortable with this. I don't like free diving at all.
Okay, yeah, fair. Yeah. Watching underwater scenes like this make me panic because I'm like, this is too long underwater. I'm suffocating right along with you.
They stress me out.
Yeah.
They stress me the hell out, yeah. I don't really even like snorkeling. I mean, like, if snorkeling at the surface is fine, but I don't like diving deeply and...
Yeah.
Because I run out of breath really quickly. I tend to be very buoyant, so I have to exhale a lot to get myself to go down is my issue when I'm trying to snorkel.
And then all your air's gone
and exactly. Then I get down there and I'm like, well, I just exhaled all my air to get down here, and now I'm down here and I got no air left. So shit, now I got to get back up and I'm like 15 feet down.
Not helpful.
No, it's not. Jack does head back down, and this time I was surprised that he was so reluctant to just start poking stuff because he loves touching things.
He does love touching things. That is true.
Yeah. I was very surprised that he wasn't just like, ooh, a whole bunch of things to touch, and instead was getting upset with Rodney. So he tries some levers. One of the levers he tries is closing his way back up to where there's air. So that's bad. He panics a bit and starts pulling on other levers. One of the other levers does open the door back up a little bit, but only a few inches. That seems to placate him, at least for the time being, so he swims around to the other side of the panel, and he does find a switch, a large lever that does work this time, but as soon as he lets go, the water starts going back up. So that's inconvenient. He's about out of air at this point, so he rushes over to the exit. It is not nearly wide enough for him, so he has to fight with it for, I don't know, however long, to widen it a bit, which conveniently it does eventually open up enough for him to get out. And this reminded me a bit of, I don't remember if I mentioned it on here before, but when I used to work at Rainforest Cafe and I had to swim in the tanks to clean them, I did actually get stuck in one of them at one point. I got wedged between the wall of the tank and a piece of coral, and it reminded me of that because my wetsuit was caught on some fake coral, and I could not get up to the air, and I was freediving at this point. So maybe that's why freediving stresses me out.
Maybe.
Because I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die in this dumb fish tank in this stupid restaurant. This is how it ends, and this is bad. But I obviously didn't die.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe you're mostly dead.
It could be that I'm mostly dead. Yeah. Could be. But anyway, yeah, Jack ultimately, like me, gets himself free, gets himself to the surface, and is able to get some air. Woolsey is impressed by how long Jack can hold his breath, and Woolsey was about to have a heart attack because of how long Jack was down there. Jack says he's also impressed by how long he can hold his breath. Rodney radios to them and asks why Jack stopped because it sounded like the right control was working. They could hear noises like the water was starting to drain. Jack, though, tells them it's a dead man switch. I need to stay there and hold it. Rodney is very distraught and says he had no idea. Jack isn't quite sure if he believes that or not, but prepares for yet another dive. Anyway, now that he knows where to go, he can head right to that lever. So he holds on to it for as long as he can, and the water does finally go down.
Whoa!
Slowly. Jack is clearly getting uncomfortable as it's continuing to drain. Yeah. We're getting some snippets of everybody inside the puddle jumper being excited that he's got it. It's got to be almost there. He's doing great. Woolsey hears people coming, though, so that's bad while Jack is down there. He shuts off his radio as Rodney is just calling him to give an update. And I appreciated his brave face. He was clearly panicking, but he took a deep breath, told himself, I can do this, and then put his gun up in front of him, and that was all we got of him for a while.
I am a doctor, not a bartender.
Meanwhile, on the puddle jumper, Rodney is distraught that Woolsey is no longer answering them, so that's bad. But they at least realize that they have enough air in the chamber that they can safely exit, so they open the door. Rodney's going to stay here and continue to work on Niam Cat. Meanwhile, Shepard and the rest of the team are going to go and try to find Jack and Woolsey, which shouldn't be too far away.
Nope.
Back with Jack, he resurfaces and loudly says, woo, and congratulates himself basically, only to turn around and see that Woolsey is there surrounded by replicators and being held captive by him. So I appreciated Woolsey's brave face, as I said, but he was vastly outnumbered.
Yeah. And next, we see the replicators have brought Jack and Woolsey to Atlantis jail. Jack was not nearly as wet as he should have been. They have his hair wet, but his clothes are way too dry. But That's okay. The replicators want to know where everyone else is. And Jack's like, who everyone else? Elsewhere, the rest of the group, except Rodney, arrive at Jack's diving hole to find that there is no Jack and no Woolsey. But there is a bunch of shell casings on the floor. So did Woolsey shoot at the replicators a shit ton and just miss them all and get captured anyway?
I think he only had a regular gun.
Jack gave him his P90.
Yeah, but those don't really do anything against these replicators.
Well, I'm not saying they did anything. I just was surprised that Woolsey fired a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah. I think he fired a bunch of times. I don't think he did miss, but I don't think that these replicators are susceptible to P90s or any other kind of gun.
I've got a gun! I've got a ready gun!
I just didn't, in the capture scene, I didn't catch that there were a bunch of bullets that had happened. And I was like,
I don't think we saw the floor, so
Yeah.
we wouldn't necessarily know that. Would have been an interesting scene, though. So put that in.
Right? Instead of Landry
I'd have
yelling
liked to
at
see that.
Dr. Lee.
Yeah.
So they're like, uh-oh, their minds are going to get probed any moment. In the puddle jumper, Rodney gets a call from Shepard telling him to fire up the virus, and Rodney says he can't because he's not done. He's going as fast as he can, and he can't go any faster even knowing that Woolsey and Jack have been captured. So they're just going to have to live with that. So Shepard leads the team away from the diving hole. Back in the brig, Jack and Woolsey are indeed beginning to be interrogated. They ask what they were doing in the flooded city, and Jack's like, the backstroke. Take that. Love smartass O'Neill. Welcome back, bud. Then they ask what he's planning, and he goes into a babble about how he was going to retire and how it's not as great as he thought it would be. And Richard Dean Anderson ad-libbed all of this.
Did he really?
Yep.
That's fantastic.
The replicators are not impressed, though. So they're going to shove their hands in Woolsey's and Jack's heads.
Neat.
Yeah.
It still bothers me that they do the exact same thing as the other Galaxy replicators.
I know.
Like right into the forehead. I mean, at least make it somewhat clever. Maybe go with like a finger through the ear.
Yeah.
Or 2 fingers up the nose. It's just something different.
Something different, but no.
Yeah. 2 fingers up the nose would have been really funny.
A wise guy, eh? How do you like that?
Yes, it would have been.
Next, we are in Jack's subconscious. It is in front of an open gate. Jack asks, what you doing? And the replicator says, probing your mind. Jack says, it's kind of roomy, ain't it? I was entertained.
I agree. Me too.
The replicator is surprised by Jack's ability to resist, but he's had a fair amount of practice with the replicators from their galaxy. So, of course he can resist. Woolsey, though, Woolsey is another story. This replicator says that he's sure that whatever they can't get from Jack, they'll be able to get from him instead. Jack tells him, well, you can keep poking around in here if you'd like, and I can tell you if you're getting warmer or colder. But then the replicator says, there it is. And then they leave Jack's head. Then we're in the brig with Woolsey and Jack laying on the ground, and Woolsey says that was the worst thing he's ever experienced. Jack tells him it gets worse.
Oh, jeez. Poor Woolsey.
Yeah.
Then we're in the puddle jumper. Rodney's like, all right, cool. He radios to let them know stand by. He's got Niam Cat's power levels as high as he's comfortable putting them at, and he's going to try to get Niam Cat to do something. But he turns around and, uh-oh, Niam Cat's awake.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Telling them they should not be tampering with their base code, and you're not going to get a second chance at this. Rodney, fortunately, though, grabs one of the anti-replicator guns and shoots him dead. So, yay, Rodney's alive. However, that does kind of put a damper on their plan.
So, see, this is where I was wondering, what the hell was the point of this entire plot of getting Niam Cat, bringing him back, only for Rodney to be fighting with getting this program to work the entire time, and then have Niam wake up for 2 seconds, have one line, and then die? Was there some aspect of Niam Cat's contract that they didn't fulfill in the last episode, so they, had to give him one more line here? Or was this whole thing just to stretch their time? It made no sense to me. It seemed like such a pointless storyline for it to just end abruptly like that.
Well, I don't know. I like that they had a plan that was fully formed and yet got fucked up.
It was still entertaining, but it just seemed very pointless and like a weird choice to be putting into a TV show of, let's have this long drawn out plot that suddenly ends and is pointless.
Yeah, I don't know. I was fine with it. I didn't have that reaction to it, but also
it seemed weird to me.
They could also now, they did leave Niam Cat floating out there. They made a point of showing it, so he had to be back at some point.
Yeah.
So
Not necessarily. I mean, we still haven't gone back to see Daniel's grandfather.
yeah, but that guy was just an old man. Who cares? He's not a robot floating in space. Come on.
Fair. Way less cool than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shepard radios to Rodney to come in, and Rodney says, fall back. We need a new plan. End of plan. End of scene.
Indeed. Everyone has reconnoitered back at the puddle jumper. Weir is incredulous that Niam just came back to life? What?
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
They figure that the replicators got to Jack and Woolsey. Shepard knows that Jack wouldn't have given them away, and Taylor points out that their minds would have been probed, but still, Jack, as we know, was mostly able to fend that off. But in any case, if they've got Jack and Woolsey, then the replicators know they're here at least and have some information on them and what they're trying to do. They figure maybe that's got something to do with how Niam was reactivated, because I don't actually even know how they would know to reactivate Niam, because it's not like Jack and Woolsey knew that Niam was there. They said that they had to go pick up some frozen food or whatever.
They did, but if Jack had read the mission report, he might have put it together in his head because he's smart.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe. It's possible.
I don't know. It's a stretch, but
yes. Beckett asks if there's any way that they could get that program to work anyway. Was Rodney able to upload it or anything like that? But no, that's not going to happen. So they need a new plan. Their first plan that we have been now watching them try to pull off for more than half the episode isn't going to work. So they have the weapons that will disintegrate the replicators, unlike poor Woolsey. What about that? Can they just go out and kill them all? Rodney says that he would normally love the run-and-gun enthusiasm that Ronan has, but the weapons are only going to work for a little bit before the replicators learn to adapt to them, Borg style, so they don't really want to just go around shooting a bunch of them only to have them adapt after, 5 and then still have a bunch left. So that's not a great plan either. So, does anybody have a plan C, then, if that's not going to work? And that reminds Rodney that they have C4. C4 is always a great plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't tell us exactly what his plan is, but he says they're going to need to split into groups.
Yeah. Some group activities.
Yeah.
Yay. My least favorite part of school.
Likewise.
Elsewhere on Atlantis, the only two replicators with speaking lines this entire time are discussing whether they should keep searching or keep repairing. This was not that exciting a scene. The point is they're pretty good about repairing Atlantis. It's happening quickly, and they do drop that they dismantled their own ship in order to fix the damage to Atlantis. And once repaired, though, one of them says, Atlantis will be all the ship we need. But in a monotone way, because they don't have any emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
Or acting abilities that we're aware of. They might be fantastic actors, but we don't know because
they don't need to.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we're back in the brig. Shepard and Rodney are there to rescue Woolsey and Jack.
Too little short for a stormtrooper.
Huh?
Shepard says he's going to stand guard while Rodney's them out of the prison cell. Jack starts talking to him. Thanks for the rescue. Oh, Rodney's like, no problem. He's like, no, you need to thank me for saving your ass. And Rodney's like, oh, yeah, so no problem. And we'll have you out of here in no time. It's going to be great. Jack's talking about how their frozen replicator plan didn't work out and how is plan B. And Rodney's like, we're on plan C. As in C4, if you catch my drift. And then Rodney's like, I am going to tell you our entire plan, even though you're in a jail cell. And I haven't gotten you out yet. This seems like a good idea is what I was thinking while he was doing this.
There's a point to it later.
There is a point to it later, but at the time I was like, shut the fuck up, Rodney.
It hadn't even occurred to me.
And it occurred to me they were going to have a different plan, but I was like, these replicators might hear about this plan.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah, so he's like, we'll plant charges and I'll send all of the shield emitters. That way when the Daedalus comes with their nuclear weapons, they'll be able to blow up the city. It's going to be great.
Woo.
Jack calls it a plan F, as in we are totally F. And then is cut off by Rodney. Rodney's like, but maybe we can get back to the jumper and we'll fly off to safety. It'll be fine. Unfortunately for them, Shepard calls out that they've got company, so he and Rodney are going to have to leave Woolsey and Shepard in this jail cell. Rodney's like, they know too much. I told them the whole plan. I thought I'd have more time to get them out of there. Uh-oh.
Whoops.
Pretend I didn't say anything. So Shepard and Rodney leave, and Woolsey and Jack are there. Woolsey's pretty sad. He's like, we're back to being vaporized. Womp womp.
Then we are back in the SGC. Poulter tells Landry that they are getting a message from the Daedalus. It is ready for the failsafe and awaiting Landry's orders. He tells Poulter to reply back that the order still stands. They need to destroy Atlantis at all costs. But that's all we get of that scene. Then we are back in Atlantis. Beckett and Taylor have taken care of putting C4 at the shield emitters. And now they need to just go hide out until this is all done. Ronan and Dr. Weir have put their C4 at their shield emitters. And they haven't run into any replicators either, which they think is kind of weird. But then they get the hell out of there. Then with Rodney and Shepard, they are mostly done. They have one more C4 that they need to place. But Rodney looks at his screen and says, what the hell? He realizes that the replicators weren't coming after them because they've been very busy repairing the city. The ZPM is powering up the star drive because Atlantis is a giant spaceship. I don't even remember if that has ever come up before. I think it probably has, right?
I think it has, and given that the replicators built a replicated version of Atlantis that did fly, I feel like
that's right.
Even if they hadn't, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's come up before.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember for sure. Yeah. So, city's about to take off.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, that doesn't seem great for the team here.
No.
They're going to need to activate the shields to take off. Shepard says, well, we got most of them, but Rodney says most isn't going to be good enough. They need to take out all of the shields. If Atlantis does take off, then it might end up battling the Daedalus in space, so that would be bad. They want to try to stop this from happening before Atlantis makes it to space. And then they realize there's drones, and there's a chair somewhere that is active and powered. So maybe Beckett can go do something with that. We don't hear exactly what the plan is going to be yet because we fast forward a little bit to Beckett saying, you want me to do what? And he says he'll give it a try, but apologies if he destroys the entire city. Here we learn that more specifically the plan is to try to have Beckett destroy the star drive so that Atlantis can't take off. Shepard also tells Taylor to be wary that there's probably going to be a fight coming her way as soon as the replicators realize what is going on. So most likely people are going to be coming to the chair room to try to stop her and Beckett. But use that ARG thing sparingly because they don't want those replicators to build up an immunity. And yeah, that's it. Go time.
Go time. Then we're in the control room with the replicators, who are getting reports that the guards in the chair room have been taken out already. And they're like, what are they doing? And it's Beckett in the chair, pulling out some drones. And the drones fly right underwater like they can, which you wouldn't know from the beginning of this episode.
Indeed.
They hit the star drive, as it is reported by the replicators. They've sent a search and destroy team to the chair room, so they're going after Beckett for this. Although they do say they need him alive, which, why?
Maybe just to put their hands in his brains?
Maybe. They do like to do that, and it's probably easier when they're alive.
Likely so.
Yeah. In the chair room, Taylor yells to Beckett because the replicators are on the way. He gets up, but unfortunately, they're too late. The replicators arrive and catch them both and drag them out of the room. Then we see Ronan and Weir are still working on their shield emitter thing when replicators arrive on them. And I did see in the firefight between them that Ronan very definitely used his gun and not the anti-replicator gun. And I was like, what are you doing, Ronan? Because again, I didn't know their plan.
Yeah. It's a pretty powerful gun. I think we have seen his work a bit better on the replicators than
possibly,
regular bullets. I don't think it necessarily kills them, but it at least slows them down a little, I think. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah. And then Shepard and Rodney are also finished, however, also captured by replicators. Everyone's been captured.
Yeah, and then we're in a cell where they've all been thrown in together. The replicators leave after throwing Rodney and Shepard in. Shepard asks if everyone's okay. Weir says everybody's fine. Beckett will be fine. Ronan is wondering why they're not dead yet. Shepard says it's probably for some recreational mind probing. And Taylor says everyone completed their tasks, so they're not going to talk about it here out loud because just then Jack and Woolsey are brought in. The replicators ask if the team really thought they would be able to stop them, and Shepard says, of course. We wouldn't be here otherwise. Jack asks Shepard, am I going to have to fire you? Shepard says, no. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. You can look forward to firing me when we get back instead of firing me right now. How about that? But the replicators then tell Shepard that, nope, your plan's been discovered. It's all over. Woolsey is incensed when everyone stares at him accusingly, and he said, how can you resist when someone puts a hand in your forehead? It's a fair point. He's never been probed before like that.
Yeah.
Jack says he likes to just close his eyes and think of England. But now they know about the whole plan to blow up the shield emitters and then allow the Daedalus to blow up the city. So, nope, that's going to fail. You've failed already. And the Daedalus is approaching the planet, and they're going to have their shields up, and they're going to destroy the Daedalus. So, that's bad.
Indeed.
But then we get a really weird rewind effect through, like, 3/4 of the episode?
Yeah.
Or so? And we're back on the puddle jumper again, with Rodney I guess it wasn't 3/4.
No, back to the failed Niam Cat plan. Yeah.
Rodney snaps his fingers and asks how much C4 they got. So we find out a bit more of the plan after he says that they all need to split up into groups. He says that they're going to destroy everybody using replicator disruptors, but they need to hit everybody all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
The bagel will show you the true nature of things.
They can maybe afford to get a dozen or so shots off before that, so make sure that as we're setting up these C4, use them as sparingly as possible so that this doesn't destroy the entire plan. Shepard asks how they can possibly make this work. They're not going to be able to get them to all stand in one place at one time. But no, Rodney's got another plan. They can figure out a way to send a massive blast through the city. Look, follow me.
Rodney leads them to one of the shield emitters where he shows them what he's talking about. He wants them to take the crystals out of the anti-replicator weapons and put them in the shield emitters so that they can create a massive anti-replicator wave throughout the city. Which answers the question why they didn't fire their anti-replicator guns. They'd taken them apart.
Yep.
So that's why they're going to split into teams so they can get this done as quickly as possible. He shows them how to do it. Taylor's like, they're going to figure this out. And Rodney's like, yeah, that's why we're also going to plant a bunch of C4 so they think what we were trying to do is blow up the shield emitters. And we're going to also let them know we're doing this by feeding them some misinformation. And then we get a flash of Rodney sharing this plan with Woolsey and Jack.
Yes. Not the whole plan, just the C4 plan.
Yes, just the C4 part. That's the part that I was like, shut up, Rodney, what are you doing? And
the part that they were showing us and that they told to Woolsey, but having this secret plan behind.
Totally meant for the replicators to hear it, so it's all okay.
Indeed. Sometime later, Shepard and Rodney are moving away from the brig after they were there talking to Woolsey and Jack. Shepard says that Jack didn't buy it, but they think Woolsey did, and so it's kind of all that really matters. Rodney says he did win a Sears Drama Festival award when he was a kid.
Real
and he
festival.
could have made a career of acting if he had wanted to. So, yes, he's very pleased with himself at how well he fooled Woolsey, and he's pretty sure that Jack was more fooled than Shepard wants to say.
Yeah. That's a real festival, by the way, in Canada.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Shepard wishes that Rodney did, in fact, make a career out of that. Then we're back in the brig again. It is still earlier when the replicators come to probe Woolsey and Jack's mind. They learn about the C4 explosives that are going to be at all of the emitter stations, but of course they don't know about the ARG parts that are in there since Woolsey wasn't told about that part. And then we are back in present day. The replicators, or present day, it's been the same day. We are back in the present time. The replicators say that the Daedalus is approaching the planet. They activate the shield. And then we get a scene of throughout all of Atlantis, the shield running down, running through the buildings, and wherever the shield comes down in a room, the replicators disintegrate. And it was pretty great.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
Very well. Rodney says he can't believe it worked. Dr. Weir says that was amazing. And Rodney is actually a little bit more humble than usual and says that it was a group effort. Shepard says good old plan D works every time. Meanwhile, Woolsey and Jack are like, what the hell is happening? Because the replicators that had been there just fell apart. Rodney does tell them now that they turned the shield into a giant replicator weapon. Jack's like, yeah, I knew it. And Jack says, well, he's seen Carter crack enough codes to know that Rodney was faking the whole door thing or whatever their plan was before and faking trying to get them out of their cell. Woolsey is shocked and sheepish. He said that he bought the whole thing completely. Taylor said that that was the point. Woolsey, though, is very sad that he was used, but Beckett reminds him that you're alive and also you're welcome. Ronan had gone out to check the hallway to see if there were any replicators still lingering around. He comes back in to tell them that they are all clear, so they're going to head up to the control room and contact the Daedalus and hopefully not get blown up by a nuclear weapon in the process.
Yeah. I was wondering, it's good luck that they happened to be in a cell at a time. Replicators were there with them and had the cell door open, because how fast would they have been able to get out and not be exploded by nuclear weapons?
That would have been very inconvenient and a good point that I didn't think of.
I only thought of it because at first I was like, how did they get out? And I rewound it. I was like, oh, great, because the cell door was already open because the replicators were there with them.
Maybe Rodney could have actually broken out of the cell, even though he didn't have luck before because he wasn't really trying before.
True.
But maybe he was able to, although that would be really dumb for the replicators to leave him with his technology.
True. But that is not what happened, so...
Nope.
No, we're on the Daedalus where not Marks tells Caldwell they have a message from Atlantis. And Caldwell's like, the replicators are calling? And he says, no, Colonel Shepard is authenticating. So Caldwell tells him to open a channel. Shepard's like, I have my code. It's me. And Caldwell says, that is not a valid code. I would like to kill you all and take over. He doesn't say that. Then Jack gets on the line and is like, Jack O'Neill here, that valid enough for you? And Caldwell's like, you might be compromised too. Weir chimes in that they're going to lower the shields. Feel free to send anyone down to check us out. We promise we're going to explain everything. So there will be no blowing up of Atlantis today. He's going to send a team of Marines down. And presumably it goes well because next everything's A-okay.
Yeah.
Weir's moving back into her office. Jack comes in, asks her if she's settled. Weir's like, yep. She doesn't like, though, what the replicators have done with the place. She wants all her knickknacks back. But she is happy the replicators did a great job rebuilding Stargate operations for them, so yay!
Excellent. Convenient.
Yeah. Yes. Jack reports he does not have tiny little robots in his bloodstream, so everything's coming up Earth folks today.
Woo!
Jack's looking forward to going home, having a hot shower and a hot toddy. Weir, though, doesn't care about what Jack personally wants to do. She actually wants to know if her team gets to stay on Atlantis, even though they disobeyed orders. And Jack's like, yeah, all right, you can stay. Probably the IOA is going to need to give the okay too, but, you know, you saved Woolsey, so it's going to be fine. So they're all happy. They're like, yay, thanks for rescuing me. Thanks for rescuing me. This is all great. Jack does advise, though, the next time they do something like this, they should bring Carter with them. And yes, they should.
Absolutely.
Then Jack tells her, welcome home. And she hugs him.
Yeah.
And he is like, okay. Hug back, I guess.
It's a good thing that there are absolutely no repercussions for disobeying orders and stealing stuff like a puddle jumper.
There's no repercussions, and everything worked out really great for them. They might not have been able to meet arrogant ancients, but they got a nice repaired... I mean, they blew up Stargate Command, but, you know, whatever. They're Stargate Command, not SGC, but They also got out of this ZPMs, which they had depleted theirs.
Yeah.
They got enough ZPMs to run the star drive, so it's clearly more than one. Everything's great. You should always disobey orders because you get free ZPMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disobey orders and get things you want.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That's a good lesson.
Yes. And that's the end of the episode on that
is
good lesson.
End of the episode. Did you like the episode?
I did like this episode. It was extremely entertaining. We got Jack, which, we had Jack last time and we still love more. Jack and Woolsey together were very, very funny. I enjoyed them a lot. I thought most of it was very exciting. I did not feel like the Niam Cat thing was pointless, so I did not have a problem with that. Yeah, it was a really fun episode and it was exciting. I mean, it is kind of weird that you can just, I don't know, I guess it's not a problem with the episode itself, but a problem with the story of the whole series. And where, they went through all this, oh no, we don't have a ZPM again because we depleted it because we tried to do a dumb experiment that didn't work out. But there are no consequences for that because we just get free ZPMs 2 episodes later. What's the point of that? But otherwise, I enjoyed it. How about you?
I did. It was a very weird episode.
Yes.
And very frequently silly with lots of things that were odd. Like we mentioned, I was frequently wondering, why is this here? They were still entertaining, though, even though I was wondering, why are they doing this?
Yes.
For much of it. I did think it was really interesting how, in hiding the actual plot from Jack and Woolsey, they also hid the actual plot from the audience. Yeah. I thought that was an interesting way to handle that situation. Because when they went and did that rewind thing, I was like, what the fuck is even happening right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what they did. But yeah, the way that they did the episode, I thought it was very interesting and added to my enjoyment of it. Good episode overall.
Yeah. Will what we watch next be entertaining?
I don't know, because TVDB has a pop-up ad somehow, some way, even though we have a pop-up blocker on. So hang on.
Is it a good ad at least?
No, because it's not in English and I can't read it.
Boo.
Okay. Next is Stargate SG-1 Season 10, Episode 12, Line in the Sand. And this is TVDB that I'm looking at. SG-1 tries to defend a planet from the Ori by hiding its people in another dimension.
Oh.
Vala attempts to convince her husband, Toman, of the Ori's true motives.
Oh, hey, Toman.
Yeah. Let me unbury the booklet where I always put stuff on it and then forget about it.
All right.
According to the booklet, hoping to use Merlin's phasing device to hide a village from the Ori army, something goes wrong, forcing Mitchell and a critically injured Carter to hide themselves out of phase from an occupation of Ori soldiers. Phasing device, huh? Is that what Merlin's secret weapon was? That doesn't seem like it would completely destroy the Ori, though.
That wasn't the secret weapon. That was the thing where Cameron was stuck. Mitchell was stuck in this ghost Cameron wandering around the SGC because they had that typey device. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm calling him Cameron today for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Forgot about that. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargazing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargazing.space. Reach us by email, stargazing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargazing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargazing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargazing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Mary.
I'm Kathy.
And you've been listening to Stargazing. The end.
The end. Avoidy maneuvering.
Yeah, avoidy maneuvers. Yep. That's the totally normal way to say that.
Yep.
Hang on. Drop my phone or something. Where'd my phone go? There it is. Okay. Dropped something.
Stop dropping things.
Sorry.
God.
Would you like to start or would you like me to start?
I don't know. That was a very short beginning, so if you felt like starting, you could.
Sure. I will.